Welcome to the Glow Reserve. This is your weekly space to become your most radiant, resilient, and real version of yourself. Hosted by Donna Ashley, a multifaceted mom, entrepreneur, wife, wellness enthusiast. This podcast blends real talk, reinvention, and feminine power. From beauty and wellness to legacy building and career purpose, Donna explores the glow up journey in all its forms. Whether you're navigating motherhood, shifting your mindset, or reclaiming your identity, the Glow Reserve is where your evolution begins. So tap into the reserve. There's more of you waiting to shine. So today, class, we're talking Nola Darling, part muse, part rebel, full time blueprint for what it looks like when a woman stops asking for permission and starts becoming the masterpiece she already is. She's not trying to be acceptable, she's not shrinking to fit, she's not performing femininity to make anybody feel more comfortable. She lives like art, wow, raw, undeniable. And whether you love her, misunderstand her, or side eye her entire lifestyle, you will feel her. So, this episode isn't just about Nola, it's about you, lady. It's about what happens when a woman finally decides to stop performing and start showing up in her full power and her full complexity, her full femininity without any apologies. So, if you've ever been called too much, too loud, too emotional, too creative, this is your invitation to stop shrinking and to start shining. Welcome again to the Glow Reserve. Let's talk about what it means to be a woman who glows from the inside out, unfiltered, unboxed, and unforgettable. Excuse, I am currently recording at my office, my leasing office, and it's people at the pool. I'm in the clubhouse, people are in the pool. So excuse that if you guys hear that. But moving on. So Nola was born in Spike Lee. She's Gotta Have It. Brooklyn based, a multi passionate, fully free. Okay, so Nola is a character. Yes, she is. But she's also, would you say, a mirror? She's a vibe. She's an artist, a lover, a feminist, a spiritualist, a black woman in her entire fullness, okay? She does not apologize for contradictions. She does not water herself down and she lives life with bold honesty and with deep desire. Nola is truly that girl. She doesn't hold back her emotions for anyone, or she doesn't care if her emotions make her look crazy. She's the friend who calls you out and pours you a glass of wine, of course, and the woman who creates with her soul and from her soul. She loves without shame and walks away when something no longer aligns. So let's talk about the men in Nola's life for a second. Each one of them reflects a different version of masculinity, and not one of them knows what to do with a woman who refuses to fold. Jamie, he's the safe guy. He's the provider. He wants to protect Nola. But really, he wants to own her. He thinks love looks like control dressed up as care. He can't handle a woman who doesn't need saving. And Greer is obsessed with appearances, okay? Including his own. To him, Nola, she is beautiful, desirable, but most importantly, she makes him look good. He doesn't see her. He sees the image of her. She's a trophy on his shelf, not a person in her own right. And let's get to Mars. Mars is the fun, goofy, and he's probably the easiest to be around, if we're being honest. But even he struggles when Nola doesn't center him. He plays like he's down for the ride, but deep down, he still expects to be picked. All of them want something from her, but none of them know how to hold her. Not as a full woman, not as someone who refuses to be boxed in. Because here's the truth: Nola, she never bends herself to make a man feel bigger. She's not about to clip her wings to make someone feel taller. She hears them, she considers them, but she doesn't trade in her freedom for their comfort. And that's what makes her powerful. She stays whole, even when the world tells her to break into pieces for someone else's convenience. Let's be real. Nola, she is not perfect. She's figuring things out in real time. She makes choices that aren't always easy to explain, even to herself, okay? But that's what makes her human. The problem is black women, we don't get that kind of grace. We don't get to explore, we don't get to experiment, mess up, quote unquote, or evolve without someone trying to shame us for it. There's always this pressure to have it all together, to be palatable, to make sense to people who never even tried to understand us in the first place. So when Nola says, I'm not choosing just one man, I'm not ready to be owned, they don't just question her, they come for her. She gets labeled difficult, confused, too much. Meanwhile, if a man did exactly what she did, dated multiple women, explored his options, put his art first, nobody would flinch. He'll be seen as free, maybe even praised for it, okay? But let's get to it. But Nola, she's punished for doing the same thing with clarity and confidence. That is why this isn't just about who she is dating. It's about who she's becoming. Her story is about taking her time back, taking her voice back, her energy, and most importantly, her story. Because when you grow up in a world that constantly tries to tell you who you are, the most radical thing you can do, ladies, is decide for yourself. So let me tell you, first and foremost, how she got me. This is my real life Nola moment, okay? So this is a love hate revelation. So picture this. There I was watching She's Gotta Have It for the first time, the Netflix series. I was rolling my eyes and throwing playful shade at Nola Darling throughout the entire film. I was the ultimate critic, of course, clowning her choices and lifestyle at every turn. Yet something fascinating was happening beneath all of the snarky commentary that I was outputting. The plot twist was that despite all of my jokes and criticisms, I found myself dreaming about naming my future daughter Nola Darling. How could I want to name my child after someone that I had been roasting for the past 3+ hours? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was cracking jokes and I was secretly taking notes. Like my heart was secretly taking notes on what Nola was displaying in that series. Her confidence, her self love, the authenticness of her femininity. It was a masterclass. Nola, she just wasn't a character, she was a force of nature. So, this is what drew me in her unshakable confidence, number one, that I was secretly envious of, that incredible body positivity that radiated through the screen, and the way she lived life on her own terms, completely unapologetically. So there I was, caught between my outer critic and my inner admirer, finally admitting to myself that maybe, just maybe, okay, all that criticism was masking a deep admiration for everything Nola Darling represented. She had me wanting to name my future daughter after her while pretending I wasn't impressed. Now that's what I call an impact. This whole experience taught me something about myself, that sometimes the things we critique are actually the things we secretly admire and aspire to embody. So, what exactly is Nola energy? Let's break it down, class. Nola Darling is more than a character. She is a blueprint, a vibe, okay? A signal to every woman who's ever felt the pressure to be polished, palatable, or predictable. Nola teaches us what it looks like to live unapologetically, of course, and these are just a few things that she leaves us behind as lessons. So, number one, I listed as number one, I have sexual autonomy. Nola, she reclaims her body, her desire, and her pleasure without shame and without explanation. She refuses to subscribe to the misogynistic narrative that says that women need to be chosen in order to be worthy. So she doesn't wait for a man to validate her. She is the validation. And no, it does not make her reckless. It makes her free, actually. She reminds us that owning your sexuality on your terms is not taboo, it's liberation. And number two, creative liberation. For Nola, art isn't a cute hobby, it's how she breathes, it's her protest, of course, her prayer, her power. Every canvas she touches becomes a mirror reflecting her truth and her pain, her chaos and her joy. For the modern woman, creativity might not be on a literal canvas. It might be content creation. It might be starting a podcast, designing your home, writing a book, dancing in your kitchen, going to I don't know, a museum, whatever you want to do. Dreaming bigger than what you were told that you could. Your art is literally your fingerprint on the world. It does not have to be perfect, it just needs to be yours. Number three, she set radical boundaries. Let's be honest. Nola, she does not shrink. She does not bite her tongue to keep the peace. She does not dim her light to make others more comfortable. She says no when she means it and she walks away when she must. And here's the lesson: that's not selfish, that's self honoring. Nola teaches us that boundaries aren't walls, they're sacred architecture. They protect the art, the energy, and the evolution of who you're becoming. So now we've broken down the essence of Nola's energy. You see it, you feel it, but how do you embody it? How do you take everything Nola represents and bring it into your life? And that's exactly where we're headed next. So grab your notepad, open your journal, because in this next segment, we're going to talk about becoming Nola in your own life. Class is still in session, okay? So, becoming Nola in your own life. Let's talk about how to channel your inner Nola darling, not just a vibe, but as a way of living. Number one, self exploration. So, becoming Nola, it starts with turning inward. Self exploration is about internally asking yourself the hard questions, the kind that peel back the layers of performance and expectation. Start with this: who am I when no one's watching? What parts of myself have I silenced to survive? Who am I beyond the roles I play? Do not overthink it, journal it. Let your answers come out messy, honest, and unfiltered. That's where your power lives. And as you reflect on your past, your pain, and your patterns, you start to reconnect with who you've always been beneath the noise. Number two, creative expression. This is your reminder: you don't need permission to create. Dress how you feel, dance in the mirror, paint your moods, write your truths. Creativity is not about being polished, it's about being you. You do not need to be perfect in order to be powerful. Number three, solo dates. Take yourself out, seriously, to dinner, to the museum, on a walk with no destination in mind. Learn the rhythm of your own company. Learn your body's language. You need to become the kind of woman who knows what she likes and claims it without apology. Being your own best lover is not just like some poetic thing. It's what you need to do in order to really take control of your life. Number 4, speak your truth. Let's talk about what it really means to speak your truth, okay? People always say, yeah, you need to speak your truth, speak your truth. Let's talk about what it really means to do that. So, you don't have to edit your feelings to protect someone else's comfort. You don't have to shrink your brilliance or water down your insight because it's not fully figured out yet. Your truth does not need to be neatly packaged, it just needs to be real. So, claiming your power also means honoring your pain. Me personally, I'm learning how to say yes. I'm building something beautiful, but I'm also learning how to heal from being overlooked, from being underestimated, and from being unsupported. You can also be the powerhouse and still talk about what hurt, girl. You need to also let go of perform and put together. You are allowed to show up as yourself. You are allowed to show your becoming. I always say I'm glowing up, quote unquote. But it's not just about looks. I am literally in the thick of it right now. And that process, that evolution, that's everything. Your truth lives in the process, not your perfection. And finally, admit what you really want, even when it feels like too much, even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else, whether it's financial freedom, a global platform, a peaceful home, or a legacy of impact. Your truth gets louder the moment you stop shrinking your desires. Tell the stories only you can tell, whether you're a work from home mom building a business from scratch, or a woman that is redefining what legacy, business, friendship, and femininity look like me. Your voice is the bridge between your lived experience and someone else's breakthrough. And here's the thing, speaking your truth doesn't always mean being loud. Sometimes it's in a podcast, or it's sometimes in saying no. Becoming Nola in your own life means owning your power, your process, and your voice exactly as you are. All right. So if you made it this far, then you already know that being Nola is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about showing up as a version of yourself that does not flinch, that does not beg, and definitely does not shrink. So here's your challenge for the week. Say what you mean without the extra sugarcoating. Wear what makes you feel like a walking headline. Take yourself out, solo date style. Take up space and stop apologizing for being a masterpiece in progress. I want you to post something bold, do something daring, and tag it Nola Energy. Hashtag Nola Energy. So we can see you living out loud in full color and on your own terms, because your glow is not up for debate, girl. Thank you so much for listening in to the first episode of The Glow Reserve with Donna Ashley. I love you guys so much. I can't wait to release more episodes. I have a lot of different creative content coming up, and I hope you guys really, really enjoy it. This is my baby. It's a fun hobby of mine, and I can't wait to just share, share, share. Thank you. I love you. Bye.